Hello everyone, welcome to the Week in Nintendo Land, the place where we discuss everything in the world of Nintendo, from the news to the rumours to the games we've been playing and everything in between. I'm Alex Boltwood, and joining me today are Nathan Ellingsworth and Anna Karasik. Nathan, Anna, hello, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, very good. Very jazzed up from a great indie direct.
Yeah.
So from like you say, from the indie showcase, there's so much to discuss and unpack. I'm really excited to talk about it. But before we start, let's just kind of remind ourselves what's been happening this week in Nintendo Land. While we're still waiting on another Nintendo Direct, Nintendo brought us an Indie World Showcase on Tuesday featuring games such as Dungeon Crawler Hades and Afterlife Management Sim Spiritfarer. Another Wii U title is making the leap to Nintendo Switch this year, with Pikmin 3 set to land on the console in October. And rumours are abound that the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword will be getting a remaster after a now deleted Amazon listing supposedly revealed a Switch version is in the works. So it's been nearly a year since a fully fledged Nintendo Direct, but we've been tided over with a Indie World Showcase this week, which revealed tons of new games, some coming out on the day. Anna, which were some of the standouts for you?
Well, I think for me, a bad reason it turned into a good reason was Hypnospace Outlaw, because I heard the girl say GIF and I was like, it's GIF, it's graphics. But then I actually paid attention, and I like that it was a point and click adventure in the literal sense, where you're pointing and clicking through computer screens to go through the adventure. So I thought that was a neat concept. We'll see how it's realized. And then Takashi and Hiroshi was definitely my favorite visually. You have that kind of clay style, but I don't know if the gameplay is going to pan out. It looks pretty simple. And then my absolute favorite was definitely Bear and Breakfast. It looks like my kind of game. I love sing games. I love cute animal games. Bears are adorable. Let's do it. I'm here for it. Those are the standouts.
And Nathan, what about you? What were kind of some of the things that you kind of stood out for you?
I really liked the look of Spiritfarer. There's a lot of games with kind of similar names today, so I may struggle. Spiritfarer, the like pirate town management game. Like, oh my god, that looks incredible. That looks like Stardew Valley on the Seas or something like that. And it had this really lovely kind of painterly art style and really good use of color. And I don't know if it had been announced beforehand, but I'd literally never seen anything about it before. And then just it looked astonishing from point one. So also, I love any management, anything lovely like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Give me something to curate and look after, and I'm so happy. So I'm on board with that, just that, but being a pirate. Then A Short Hike as well. I've looked at that one on Steam a couple of times. And again, I don't know if we knew it was coming over, but it looks fantastic. The low poly pixel style, really, it kind of looks like almost a DS game or something.
It does, but you hear about it everywhere. It's one of those that people whisper about, like, have you heard about A Short Hike?
Yeah, I think it was on a lot of best of lists last year. I love little contained stories, little 3-4 hour games where it is kind of like a short film or something like that. One story, do it in one sitting, like Gris and things like that. Like, it makes me so happy to go through something emotionally all in one go. Because sometimes with the medium of video games, you choose where to just cut it, and the game may have been like, no, you were just about to get to the sad bit, and I need you to feel what you've just been through. It's that curation sometimes of a smaller game sells it more emotionally than a 20-30 hour game. So I'm so on board for those two, man. They look fantastic.
The real kind of one that I got really excited about was the Untitled Goose Game multiplayer, because I love Untitled Goose Game. I was like, I play a lot with friends, and we're trying to kind of invent ways to kind of make it a multiplayer game. And now, because there's finally a multiplayer element, I cannot wait to kind of cause havoc with my mates on that game. It looks so good.
It's the kind of game that I keep trying to rope people into. But since it's single player, some people feel weird about, being the only one playing. And I'm fine with watching someone play that game and seeing their version of that story unfold. But now I feel like that's a way to sit around and play that game with my friends and get them into it, because it's so, everyone should play it once. I feel like that game, everybody should play it once and get to the first ending once in their life.
Yeah, it's definitely like a hard sell when you try and tell someone who doesn't kind of play computer games, like, oh, it's about a goose, you know, who's kind of causing havoc. In, like,
you're like a mischievous fowl.
Yeah, and you kind of get that kind of weird look, like, what? But once you play it, like, everyone kind of gets it. So I'm kind of excited to kind of share that experience with friends. Yeah. So was there anything that was missing that you thought was going to be announced or kind of revealed, or you wanted more information on? It was kind of not there, and you were sorely disappointed?
I thought we were going to get, and much as I want to say Hollow Knight, I think that's just far into next year. And we heard Sports Story was delayed yesterday, so I knew that wasn't coming. One I'm looking forward to is Disco Elysium. The kind of top, it's like, kind of like a decision-making RPG game that came out on Steam last year, and it's very, very choice-based. And I think you're a detective trying to solve some crimes in a very gritty world that has a lot of stories, interactions with people about drink and mental health and stuff. It's kind of like a gritty game, but it's one of these ones where the decisions you make matter, and there's a whole different path that you can go down in so many different avenues because of the choices you make.
Color me interested. That sounds like
that
sounds like exactly my kind of game. Like the Telltale-esque, like every decision you make matters.
I saw a couple of things about it, and it was on my radar, and then I heard it was coming out for Switch, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try and not look at anything else. I've heard enough that it sounds incredible. So, and I think that was said it was going to be this year. So who knows, maybe later in the year.
But speaking of release dates, I mean, that's coming out later. But we were talking earlier before we started recording about how many of today's games were out right after the showcase. And I kind of wanted to bring that back up. I wrote it down because I thought it was an interesting point you brought up, Nathan, about how that leaves some of the later games to be lost in the crowd. And I wanted you to kind of elaborate on that, because I thought that was an interesting thought.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think a lot of people are going to be coming out of this with clear favourites, and things like Spiritfarer obviously kind of outshone a lot of the others. And there is, I think, 6 games announced that were out later today. No one can buy 6 games in one day. I'm sure some people can, but good for them. But, for most of us, we're going to kind of choose 1 or 2 games. And that's why often having 1 game or 2 games drop today is like, wow. And it's a real boost for that game. But, there's going to be a couple today that are forgotten about because they aren't as appealing as those big games that are announced. And they're just going to get lost in the shuffle, and maybe would have been served better by coming out in a month or a few weeks and having another release trailer a couple of days before, I think when there is so much being, thrown out today, some of it's going to get forgotten about and maybe shouldn't have.
So which ones are you going to kind of definitely pick up straight away? And which ones do you think are going to kind of get lost in the noise, basically?
Yeah, I'm going to try and have a look now because quite a lot got announced. Because I can't remember which ones are out today. But A Short Hike, especially because that one was built up and we knew it was coming, and it's quite a lauded game anyway. I think that's going to be picked up a lot, and Spiritfarer as well. I think those 2 are going to be the standout ones. Raji, that's one. That game really looked incredible.
I liked the look of that one.
Yeah, that's out today. So
and Takashi and Hiroshi also is out today, right?
Ooh.
I think that's, I saw that one out today, and I was like, scratch his chin thoughtfully. Maybe.
Yeah. Hades is autumn. Okay, yeah, that may be one of the ones out today. So yeah, because that looked really interesting. That weird claymation art style. God, I want Earthbound to look like that. That's as soon as I saw that, I was just like,
oh, that's goals. Gonna make a fan video of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan stuff for Earthbound. I'm sure you'd find something.
So we've kind of touched upon it. There's rumors there's going to be a Nintendo Direct maybe next week. Do you think this Indie World showcase was enough to kind of keep fans happy, to tide them over, or was it a little bit of no?
Not Nintendo fans, never.
They're never happy. I'm never happy.
No. I think we normally get one about this time of year. I looked earlier on today at the last 3 or 4 years of Nintendo X, and we've always had one this week for what would be Gamescom or the week before. So there's a lot of showings there. And then the last 3 or 4 years, there's been a regular direct 2 weeks afterwards. So I'm fully expecting a direct September 3rd, is what I'm saying.
September 3rd. Okay,
I'm
okay.
being,
So,
I'm
Right,
being
taking
specific.
bets.
I'm being specific because if it's right, I'll be like,
so next week we can say Nathan was right or Nathan was completely
Well,
wrong.
Not next
Right.
week, the week afterwards. I think
The week
a week
after,
after.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ahead of myself.
But I mean, just because we've had a quiet year, I think people today are still going to be a little bit like, well, where's everything else? But it's coming. Give them a break. It's happening.
So what kind of games are there left for 2020? I mean, like, No More Heroes 3, maybe. I'm kind of doubtful that's ever like this is going to come out this year. I reckon that's going to be pushed. But beyond that, I'm kind of struggling to think of any games I'm really looking forward to.
Bravely Default 2 as well. Don't forget that if we get that this year.
And I'm very excited about Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3, yes.
Coming out in October 30th of this year.
So that's one game we do know that's coming out. First party Nintendo game we do know that's coming out.
Lovely Halloween weekend game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so spooky, right?
So
I love
how
the
excited
aesthetic.
are you for that game coming out? Are you like a massive Pikmin fan?
Well, I wasn't until I played Pikmin 3. I actually hadn't played it. It's one of the GameCube classics that I didn't get around to. And my partner at the time got this Wii U, and we bought it, and I fell in love with the game. My only complaint was that it was too short because there was no DLC at the time. And seeing the deluxe and all that comes with it, all of the changes, it's going to be amazing because now we're adding the co-op through the storyline aspect, so you can rope your friends into it and get them obsessed with Pikmin. So then you have all these complicated puzzles with the rock and the flying Pikmin added that are going to be that much more engaging because you have a human involved in the co-op aspect. Before, you were switching between people, if you recall, or if you haven't played the game, you were using your gamepad to switch between two people in solo mode, and now you'll be able to do it all with someone else. So that's very, very exciting. I got that news on the 5th, I think. So it's not new news, but it's something in 2020 to be excited about.
Got excited about it. Did you kind of go back and play the previous games 1 and 2, or you just
I haven't yet, but now it's incentive to, right?
I mean, here's hoping they put them on the eShop in the run-up to Pikmin 3. But that makes so much sense. It makes me think Nintendo won't do it.
I mean, I just think I better snap it up before it goes up on eBay and prices.
Yeah,
definitely. So what kind of, like, Nathan, have you played the Pikmin games? Are you like a big fan?
Yes, I have. I was really lucky. I got into them. I never played it on the GameCube, but I got into them on the Wii with the New Play Control series. Because by the time I even found out kind of what it was on GameCube, it was so expensive already, man. It was quite a rare game from the beginning. So I picked it up on the Wii, absolutely loved it. And then the Wii U one, I think, was the first one that I was like, oh, wow, this series is actually really, really good. That one really engrossed me. It's beautiful on the Wii U. It was easily one of the best looking games.
It's stunning.
And I know everyone goes on about it, but that fruit looks actually fuzzy. I don't know how they did it. The juice mechanics at the end of the day, I'm so excited that more people are going to get to play it on Switch because it deserved a bigger audience. It's a charming, really lovely franchise. So not that Nintendo don't have enough of those, but it's forgotten up against some of the bigger ones, and just the opportunity for it to get the audience it deserves. I'm so excited, and that's why I think the multiplayer aspect is such a good idea, because not even just showing it to your friends now, you're sharing it with your friends, and that makes a difference.
It seems like a lot of these Wii U games are getting a new life on the Switch that didn't really get their day to shine on the Wii U because Wii U wasn't really such a successful console. So you've got Wonderful 101, for example, that was kind of like a cult thing, and then when it came to the Switch, it became this big deal. Same with this, and I'm wondering, did Alex, you had a Wii U as well?
I did, yeah, day one, queued up at Argos.
Do you both still have yours?
Yeah,
I gave mine away. Yeah, so
you gave yours away.
I play mine often. It's the best way to play Wii games, and I love playing old games.
Okay, I don't have mine anymore. It's not with me. So how do you feel about it, Nathan? So you really like it?
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't get it on release day because I was in university at the time. But I did get it. I remember I got it right after Wind Waker HD came out, and I had Wind Waker HD before I had a Wii U because I got it for Christmas. Because I was like, I'm gonna get a Wii U eventually. So they're like, well, we'll get this for you now. So I remember just kind of sat there looking at the box like, I wish I could afford a Wii U now. But then I got to catch up with it. But because I didn't get it day one, I never played New Super Mario Bros. U, but a few of the other ones. Such a lovely system, man. And it made that era of Nintendo, made them do weird and quirky things out of this kind of, let's throw some stuff and see what sticks. I think we saw a lot of things on the 3DS and the Wii U, like Game & Wario, like Pushmo, and them just throwing IPs and ideas out there that we kind of haven't seen as much on Switch. We've seen them go like, okay, well, that didn't work, so let's do a huge Zelda game they sell. And we're way better off for those games, for sales, for the way that Nintendo looks as a company. I'm kind of missing those smaller, risky and idea-driven games.
It kind
That's
of
a
felt
really
like
positive take.
it felt like the Wii U was kind of like a warm-up act for the Switch. They were kind of testing, seeing what was working and what wasn't, and kind of like taking it on to the next. So I wonder if the Switch would have ever existed if it wasn't for the Wii U. So I kind of think we have the Wii U to thank for the Switch.
Yeah.
You guys have such a positive way of looking at it. Most people go, oh, the Wii U is trash. I mean, I have a very neutral look at it. To me, it was like a transition. I just see it as a transition. I think like you guys, maybe not like so much positive as it was kind of there.
Yeah.
But I agree with Nathan.
Like
it's backwards compatible, which is nice.
I felt like I was the only one who kind of like, of my friends who had a Wii U, I kind of felt like the odd one out. Everyone had like, Xbox, PlayStation, but no one had a Wii U. It's kind of those, one of those like, why would you buy that?
Yeah, it was
like it's a Mario machine,
person I knew.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I was like, I have to be different. I have to get the Wii U.
Telling my friends to come over, like, play Nintendo Land with me, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "It's really fun."
I was like, so I was going to say, so my wife, like, she doesn't really play computer games, but Nintendo Land was the one kind of game that she was obsessed with. She'd ask to play it. She'd want to play it, especially like was it Mario Chase? Like, she loved playing that game. So I think that was like a real kind of like introduction to games. That was a perfect introduction to games for people. And it's a shame we didn't kind of get enough love.
It's a good family, like, home console. And I think that aspect of it and the backwards compatibility maybe saves it. Because so many of the best games from it are coming to the Switch, which is, in general, it's more portable. It has everything the Wii U had except for the double screen and the backwards compatibility. And like I said, that's sort of what saves it. Is that second screen, so you can share it with the family and stuff.
And the virtual console as well. Don't forget, we don't have that in the form it was on the Wii U, like we do now. Like I still have, like I've got Pokemon Snap on there. I've got the Zelda games. I've got like the N64 ones, and the way the virtual console is right now, we don't own those games, and I don't like that. It is what it is. I like a subscription service for many things, but when it comes to video games, especially games I love and I know I'm going to play for the next 20 years, I would rather just pay you and have it, mate. I really would.
So we're kind of like, we talk about Wii U games, Anna, you kind of touched upon it there. Are there any other kind of Wii U games that are still left on the system that haven't made the leap to Switch, that you want to make the leap to Switch? Or do you think that, Pikmin, maybe Mario 3D Deluxe World, that's it? There's no other games that need to kind of make the leap?
I think if I looked at the lineup, I might be able to point to one and say, that one. But, I can't, none of them jump out at me, and all the big ones have made it, I think. So
it's not worth owning a Wii U anymore, really, is,
No,
every game's made it to Switch. So
I just said what makes it worth it. It's a unique console with the double screen aspect, and it's also got the backwards compatibility. So it's got some things that a Switch doesn't have. So it's not worthless to have, but it's getting less valuable in terms of, exclusive games that you can get.
It's not a first party game, but I really love Zombie U.
Love it.
Absolutely love that game. That's such an inventive use of the kind of the dual screens, and quite a departure for like a Nintendo game, quite like intense and scary. And you know, when you died, you started as a new character. Absolutely love that kind of mechanic. I kind of wish that would come to Switch.
Yeah, I would need a bit of polishing, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but they did do a PS4 and Xbox version, didn't they? Just called Zombie. They nixed the U. So I don't know how much of it can be salvaged for Switch, but yeah, I think I had a lot of good ideas. You know, it's kind of like a roguelite in a way. You know, a lot of ideas that now are kind of way more commonplace. And it was genuinely scary. They're having to do things in real time. You know, you were looking at the GameCube controller to look at your backpack, and you were moving around with items and ammo and stuff. Like, that was quite scary. It was clever.
And so, moving on from that, kind of, we're talking about Wii U games that are making the leap to Switch. One that's rumored to make the leap to the Switch is Skyward Sword, Zelda Skyward Sword. Kind of an Amazon listing kind of popped up a couple of days ago, and then was swiftly taken down. And of course, it's next year is going to be the 35th anniversary of Zelda, like it's the 35th anniversary of Mario this year. So what are we kind of thinking? Is this true? Is it going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. I think, not to bring up patterns again, but Wind Waker HD came out 10 years after Wind Waker came out on the Wii U. Twilight Princess HD came out 10 years after Twilight Princess came out in 2016. And 2021 is going to be 10 years after Skyward Sword, which was a 25th anniversary game. So I think maybe it's just something IG likes doing. Maybe it's just a way for them to bring the ideas they had to these games properly to life. But I maybe it's not happening soon, but I believe it. I think we're getting it.
You think for 2021?
Yep, I think we're going to have a big year for Zelda next year that's going to lead up to Breath of the Wild 2 for holiday.
It's your second prediction.
I feel like, Nathan, just out of shot, you've got like a conspiracy board with lots of red kind of string, just like this, you know, it's 2 years since this and 3 years since this. And
I do feel like that sometimes when I'm trying to sit down and like kind of being a Nintendo fan is hard sometimes, right? especially when like they announced Breath of the Wild over a year ago, like Breath of the Wild 2, sorry, and we hear nothing through no fault of Nintendo's and through world circumstances. But it's been a quiet year, and when one of your jobs is Nintendo news as well, come on.
Give us like a piece of candy. Give us a nugget.
Yeah.
Give us something to work with. Give us something to salivate over.
I think they want to wait till they can blow us away. You know,
I agree.
We all have such strong memories of that E3 original Breath of the Wild trailer because we hadn't got enough before then, and then suddenly they blew us out of the water, and it was all anyone could talk about for months.
I think people are spoiled nowadays. That's how it always was. That's how it always used to be, right?
Gamers entitled? What?
So like I never played Skyward Sword. I just kind of missed that one out. So I played Twilight Princess. So Nathan, why is it so good? Why does it deserve to come to Switch?
Okay, first of all, people are going to bang on about the motion controls in this game, which were not bad. They were not bad. The Motion Plus was incredible. The motion controls in Twilight Princess were iffy, but like actually in Skyward Sword, they'd figured it out. They had years to finesse it. Yeah, there was that really bad E3 presentation where Miyamoto couldn't roll a bomb, but don't think about that. It's really clever. They built the different items around the motion controls. So they had stuff like, have you seen the Buzzy Beetle, like the bug that you control with the remote and stuff?
Yeah.
Stuff like that they couldn't have done before, and it worked so well, and it was so clever. And as soon as you start building puzzles and dungeons around that, it's such an interesting world. It does suffer from a little bit of a lack of content in terms of like the overworld. There's not that many bosses, so there is a repeating boss that a lot of people go on about, which, all right, I will concede that's not great. But the story is amazing. It's chronologically the very first Zelda game. It sets everything in motion and it explains a lot of things. And it's full of fantastic characters, regardless of it being the first. There's just like people like Groose, people can't stop talking about because it's just really fun. And the painterly art style, which was this kind of, all right, we won't give you Twilight Princess again, but we're not going to give you Wind Waker. They met in this middle ground of like, proper like paint-inspired impressionist art style that was incredible. I want to see that in HD more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like, it was made to hide the flaws of the Wii, but put it on a modern console and think of what they can do with it. And I think that game, with a little bit of finessing, could be what it was meant to be, like a proper celebration of Zelda for the 25th anniversary, but for the 35th, and do it right this time.
Absolutely. I've never played it, like Alex. However, I know enough about it. I know everything about the story because I like the whole timeline thing. It's one of the few Zelda games I haven't played, put it like that. And so what I do know about the story, it is, like you said, a vital aspect of it to experience and know. And it's the one thing that makes me want to play it, but I just never got around to buying it. And I kept my eye out at GameStop, never just got around to getting it. So I guess 2021 might be my chance.
If you like playing Zelda games, you're going to have a really good time in 2021. I don't need to look into a crystal ball to tell you that.
Let's hope so. Let's hope there's lots of kind of Zelda games coming to the system. Anna, like what games do you want to kind of make their way over to Switch? Like some Zelda remasters. Is there one game you're desperate to play again?
I'm greedy. I know Majora's Mask came to 3DS, but that's not what I asked for. I want it on the Switch, and I want it now. I would love to see Majora's Mask, and I think I know we had A Link Between Worlds, but I would love to see a new realization of A Link to the Past in some way. I know that sounds kind of wild, but we had Link's Awakening, and that was very beautifully done. So maybe they could do something similar with the one Zelda game I tell people to start with. Usually I say, try this and see if you like that, and then try the 3D ones, because that's like the crux of what the spirit of Zelda is. And I'd love to see that in the beautiful world of the Switch.
I'd love another kind of Ocarina of Time complete remaster, kind of maybe open it out again, kind of like have it like open world. That would be.
So you're greedy too.
Incredible. Yes, I would love that. I've played it. I've bought it so many times on different systems. But I would love it again. I would like completely pay 50 quid again.
So you don't want a remaster though. You want a Final Fantasy VII style remake.
Yes, I want to like an overhaul. Yeah, it's like open world, kind of like maybe on the Breath of the Wild engine. Just
it would be very controversial.
Yeah, but I think enough people have played it now. It's been on enough systems that they kind of need to do something with it. I think that's the kind of almost like the most famous Zelda game that kind of get people in.
It's true, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is what I like to say.
I agree with you. I think Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, because they've had remakes recently, if they are ported, we're going to get HD versions of those remakes. But if we do get remasters, God, but. I agree. I'd like to see remakes of those. I would also love to see A Link Between Worlds in the recent Link's Awakening style. Ooh. I don't think enough people understand that A Link Between Worlds is top 3 Zelda games.
It is a fantastic game.
It is literally one of the best. It is incredible and has some of the best dungeons in the entire series.
Puzzle and story-wise, it's hands down one of the best Zelda experiences. It's just hard to recommend to people because a lot of people don't have the 3DS.
Yeah, it is neck and neck with A Link to the Past for me, and I mean that. And in Japan, it is called A Link to the Past too.
There you go, then. Yeah. So what are your number ones? Is it Ocarina of Time or?
Right. So Breath of the Wild, I think, is the best game ever made. But I think Wind Waker HD is the best Zelda game. So my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker HD, followed by Breath of the Wild, followed by Link Between Worlds, followed by Majora's Mask. And then it gets muddy.
It gets muddy.
What about you, Anna? What's your kind of number one?
Majora's Mask is definitely number one.
Majora's Mask,
And then I think I would put Ocarina right behind it. And A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds would quickly follow. And I really like the Link's Awakening remake. So I
Breath of the Wild's not anywhere near the top. Because I'd say for me, like
it's the thing. I feel like it doesn't belong on the same list. Like, it's like not even the same genre. Like, it is like Nathan said, one of the best games ever made, I think. I don't know about the best. Like, I haven't played a lot of games that people think are the best because I'm just not good at those kinds of games, like Dark Souls and things like that. But I think it's among the best games of all time, so it's hard to put it like in my favorite list. Like, it's just like, oh, you live up here.
See, a lot of discourse around Breath of the Wild not being a Zelda game, but I mean, it's called Zelda. It's got Zelda.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, I think people are being I think they're splitting hairs when they talk about that sort of thing. And the series is allowed to evolve and will continue to evolve. So
Absolutely.
right now, if it doesn't feel like a Zelda game, 10 years from now, it will feel like the Zelda game.
That's, you know what, that's the dream. That's the hope. I hope for that. Because I don't mean that as an insult when I say that.
I know what you mean, though. It's such a departure.
So how are they going to top it for Breath of the Wild 2? I know a lot of people are kind of talking about they want to play a Zelda. That's the not top of the list. But what else can they kind of do? Because it's going to be built in the same engine as Breath of the Wild. So it might be set in the same kind of like the world. So what else can they do to kind of elevate it and maybe, challenge the kind of best game ever made status? Tough question.
Perhaps they could connect the map in a different way. In the last game, they had the towers.
That kind of felt quite Ubisoft, where you have to, all those like Far Cry games where you have to kind of go to the top of the tower, and enable the mast to see more of the map. That kind of felt, a little bit kind of dated by the time it kind of came out.
Yeah, it just feels a little, dated, like, I just feel like they could do that in a more seamless way. I know it's a massive map and I know it works, but maybe there could be a more seamless way to unlock and show us the map. And one thing I liked about Breath of the Wild was how natural it felt to go from A to B and see this mountain and go from here to there. And in researching an article for another website, I found out that they based the map for Breath of the Wild on the map of Kyoto. And so that's how, or did I say, yes, I think it's Kyoto, because that's where Nintendo headquarters is, and that's where the director of the game grew up. So he's like, okay, let's put that over, lay that over, and the geography kind of matches that, but what they did in their brain was they're like, how long would it take to walk from this side of town to that side of town? And I think they should retain and play into that even more. We had the horses, we had the vehicles from the DLCs. Let's play into that even more and give us different ways to traverse the map besides just like teleporting from the towers.
I completely agree with you. I think a little bit more verticality as well is something I'm looking forward to, because it's a huge world. So one of the things in what's the word I want? Concept art for Breath of the Wild was there was originally going to be a grappling hook. And if ever you've played Just Cause 3, in Just Cause 3, you can use a parachute and a grappling hook to build momentum. So you grapple, pull yourself, and then with the parachute, pull yourself upward. It's
incredible. That'd be so good.
It's a really incredible
in
mechanic.
The game, yeah.
So I think we're going to get that, and I'm looking forward to kind of what the powers in Link's arm is going to be, because we see him hold up his arm with the mystical power in the trailer, and again in concept art for Breath of the Wild, we saw Link with a magic arm with many different uses for it. So I think that's probably, they love using Zelda concepts in different games, and I think that's what we're going to get. So I think instead of the runes this time, he's going to have some magical abilities, and I think that's going to change a lot of how we explore the world. Breath of the Wild is obviously based very heavily on Ghibli films. It's based on the first trailer is a beat for beat Princess Mononoke. So we have the Ghibli film Castle in the Sky, which deals with a lot of, obviously the floating castle, floating islands and stuff. I think a little bit like the floating islands in Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, we are going to have floating islands dotted around the map, and we're going to have ways to get us to explore them. So I think that is a way for us to have the same world altered and new things for us to explore.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. Yeah, I like that.
I've done a lot of thinking about this game.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And just quickly, durable weapons or no durable weapons? What we kind of thinking?
It didn't bother me as much as it seems to bother everyone else. You can get whatever you need to get in all the places. The enemies respawn. I never got that attached to a weapon that I could destroy. So I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but it didn't seem to bother me. It riles everyone else up. Like I get riled up about. I won't even bring it up. Pokemon.
No, I completely agree with you. Durable weapons, it was chosen for a reason, and that's because they wanted you to experiment in this toy box they spent 5 years making. They didn't want you to go in with one sword and use that sword throughout the whole game. That's why they put it in, and it works. You start to look at, like, what if I attach a squid balloon to a bomb and float it over with a leaf because I don't have a sword on me? Like, it made most of the unforgettable moments that people have in their brains. I think anybody that moans about it is being silly.
If you're that attached, you can put it in your house.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're agreed durable weapons stay.
Yeah, 100%.
Great stuff.
I liked it.
So that kind of wraps up the news of the week. So we're going to kind of move on to something I've been equal parts dreading and looking forward to. Nathan has a quiz for us.
I do indeed.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
So
game face on.
Okay, so bear in mind, this is the first quiz. I am in England. I quite often put on pub quizzes. So I've done a few. I'm a fun host, but I've never had to do one for a podcast. This is very different rules, so bear with me. So I've made a game called Review Bob-omb. And it is a collection of 0-star reviews for Nintendo games. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a review, and you're going to give you both a chance to guess the game, and I'm going to keep going until you guess it.
Oh, wow. That's
okay,
going to be hard.
I like it. This is a great game.
You both get to guess. I'm going to, I'll say, who wants to go first? Yeah, you can both guess. Whoever goes
I'll
first.
go first.
The other person might be like, oh, it might be that. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
But if you both say it and you both get it right, you both get the points.
So these are Switch games?
Not all Switch games.
Okay.
Just Nintendo in general. Oh, gosh. I volunteer as tribute. Here we go.
But like I said, you both guess after each review. So don't worry. It's just one of you has to say it first. Okay, right. So game number 1. Review number 1. Game is utter disappointment. Controls are awful, graphics are mushy, soundtrack is disappointing, and there are hardly any new innovations or features when compared to previous titles. This series is really starting to show its age, and Nintendo really have to start putting more efforts to these games.
You know what? I actually heard someone on Twitter say something about this, and we were just talking about it. I'm going to say Breath of the Wild.
Ooh. Alex?
Star Fox.
Which one?
Star Fox Zero?
Unfortunately, no. Both wrong. So you both... There's 3 reviews for each one, and you get 3 points if you get it on the first one, 2 points. So you both lose the chance for 3 points there. Review number 2. The thing is, I've copied these verbatim, so I'm going to do my best to read them and not say the name of the game when it's written. Number 2. Weak story and character development. Although the game is playable, there was no drive for me to continue due to a lack of incentive to do so. I forced myself to beat this game because I beat every blank game before this one.
I forced myself to beat this one. The story doesn't drive it. Let's go with... these could be old ones.
They're from all of Nintendo's history.
It doesn't say anything specific enough for me to get it.
I mean, you'll probably both get it on the next one. So
okay,
this,
all right.
This is a chance to get an extra point.
All right. I'll go with Mario Galaxy 2.
Interesting, Alex.
I was going to say Mario as well, actually, but I'm going to go maybe like Mario Sunshine.
Okay, unfortunately, no, you're both wrong.
Darn it.
Right, last one. This might be a giveaway. That is, worst game ever. Why the F do you have to fight that effing black monster 3 times? First time, I really did not like that. Second time, I effing hate Nintendo. Third time, I stood up, took the game out, went to the street, put it in the street, and ate popcorn as I watched it get run over by a car. I don't know if that helps you, but...
I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled.
I think you're going to kick yourself when you hear it.
It should help. It should help. The Black Monster detail should be the first thing. And
Black Monster 3 times, yeah.
I feel like if I knew it, I would be like, duh. Something in my gut is telling me Golden Sun.
Okay, interesting. Alex?
I don't know. Pikmin.
Both wrong. It is Skyward Sword.
Ah.
Oh, what? I know about Debbie, but I don't know about the monster. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. One of the fights is with a giant black monster, and it's one of the main reasons people don't like the game, because you have to fight that monster over and over and over again.
And
That'd be a hard one for us.
Well, I
You
didn't
said
know you
that as
hadn't
well.
played it until just now. Okay, so that's 0 points each, unfortunately. Can't help you there, guys. Okay, next game. I nearly read it out because I've got the game above my clues. Right, okay, so review number 1. To be honest with you, this series is a wonderful series, but this is one of the games that pissed me off. The plot and gameplay is decent, but the physics are god-awful. When I tried to hop on the other side of the cube, it was rotating. It made me slide. No wonder why I activated cheats for this game.
The other side of the cube. Oh, man. The other side of the cube. I don't know. Super Mario Sunshine? I'm thinking of those like upper levels, the sky levels and stuff.
Interesting.
I'm
Alex?
saying Super Mario Galaxy.
Ooh. Okay, Anna, that's 3 points to you. Super Mario Sunshine.
No.
You are absolutely right.
Holy crap!
Yeah, oh, that is fantastic. I'm going to quickly read the other reviews. Number 2 was, I want some of what these reviewers were obviously smoking. Either that or I must be playing the wrong game. Graphics and sound are lovely, but the controls seem too loose for a Mario game. And the third-person camera is the single worst third-person camera I've ever experienced.
Oof.
And review number 3 was, he uses water for his attack and he uses it to clean the island. I wouldn't waste my time playing a fake world.
Ouch.
Gamers
Gamers are never happy.
I've had a really good time reading these reviews. Fantastic 3 points, Anna. That is great.
Oh, very well done.
Okay.
I don't know, something about it when you're in the sky levels jumping on cubes. It was
You
hard
look so
for
happy
me.
with yourself as well.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, Mom, are you watching? I got a Mario question right.
Okay, right. Game number 3, and remember, this is all of Nintendo's history. Not to give it away, but
That's a claim.
okay. Review number 1. This game freaking sucks. I got it as a gift from a friend who told me it was fun, and so I naturally assumed it was a shooter. And I didn't even get to shoot anyone for like the first 15 minutes, but there might be shooting, I don't know, I got bored and sold it after the second puzzle. You'd be better off with a good game like Halo.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Like Halo. It kind
Shooting
of
puzzles.
gives it a little bit of a timestamp, but I'm bad at that. But I think shooting and Nintendo, and there's 2 series that I think of. I don't think either of them really coincides with Halo.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? You know what, actually? I'm going to go with, but I don't remember the name of it. I'm going to say, my guess is going to be really obscure. It's that Star Fox for GameCube.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was going to be my one. Was it Star Fox Adventures? But I'm going to go.
I can't remember the name.
I'm going to say
my friend had it.
Pikmin 2.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You're both wrong, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, no. You paid a little bit too much attention to the shooting aspect of that. This player clearly thought the game was a shooter and was disappointed. Review number 2. Half the questions aren't in correct English and don't make grammatical sense. It's impossible to solve a riddle when a specific valuable word has been replaced by a similar word that doesn't actually have the same definition. Maybe if they'd checked to see if half the text made sense, it would be good. As it stands, it's just a poor excuse of a puzzle game.
I'll say Professor Layton and I don't know. What was the one before Unwound Future? I'll say the first one. I'll say Unwound Future because that's the one in my brain, I guess.
Okay, interesting. Alex?
Just a shot in the dark.
Brain training?
Okay. Fortunately, both wrong. Can't give it to you.
I'm confused by this puzzle aspect. That's going to really kind of like troubling me.
You're both around the same area. Right, so review number 3. I really don't understand the love that this game gets whatsoever. The story is not interesting in the slightest, which is one of the most important parts about the game. First off, it takes forever to start the quest that the main characters come to the village for, as the game drags it out with things such as finding cats. It's bothersome. I don't find the characters in the village memorable in the slightest. I find it boring.
Finding cats.
I would think I would be like hype. Oh, you find cats in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo game where you find cats. I think that's throwing me off a lot. Yeah, I'm super stumped.
You're paying attention
all right.
to the wrong bit.
I'll just go with Scribblenauts. I don't know. Unlimited.
Is this like, so this is a Nintendo, is it a first party game or just on a Nintendo system?
It was only on Nintendo.
Nintendogs.
Okay, you're both wrong. Going to kick yourself. Professor Layton and the Curious Village.
Ah, you were close. You were close.
When you were like, oh, maybe I'll... Oh.
I was like, what's the name of it?
I was just way off every time.
Yeah, it's Professor Layton and the Curious Village. Unfortunate. Right. We've got 2 more. I'll get through them. Next game. Review number 1. Oh my God. I'm starting to think now I maybe have written down 2 long reviews, but it's all right. It's fine. I'll make the quiz shorter next time.
I think I'm about to sound like an idiot. These are all reviews for the same game. I just realized that.
It's 3 reviews for 1 game, yeah.
I just realized that. That would have. I realized that now. I didn't understand it right at first.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. It just clicked and I was like, oh, that would have made my guesses a lot more specific. Okay, this time I got it.
I should have explained it better. I'm so sorry. Okay,
it's okay. No, I'm just an airhead.
Next game, 3 reviews for that 1 game. Okay, so first review. There is so much to do, you wouldn't have the chance to even try everything once you sell it. To me, this is a waste of time. The effects are cheesy, but it doesn't have that cheeky quirk crap like last time. But it's weak, it's no fun, it's slow, boring, and dull, a dud. Just makes the Wii look even more worse. Just awful.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Interesting. Alex?
I want to say like a Pokemon game, but I don't know what was there a Pokemon game on the Wii U?
On what? There was on the Wii. There was on the Wii U, but it was like Pokemon Rumble and Pokken.
Pokemon Rumble.
Interesting. Okay. Anna, you got that one? Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Oh my gosh. Did
3
I
points
steal
as
your
well.
answer
I was,
again?
lagging behind.
That's 3 points again. So the remaining reviews were: worst game ever. Go do yourself a favor and buy a 360 or PS3 where there is good fighting games. There will never be a good fighting game on the Wii unless it uses original controls. This game is mediocre, kiddish, immature, pointless, boring. Go buy SmackDown vs. Raw if you're too cheap to buy a 360 or PS3.
Whoa, scathing.
I know, I love it. And the third one, loved the new characters, stages, and game modes, but the multiplayer by itself earned this game a 0. Now, any player, no matter how bad, can recover, break combos due to tripping, and keep up with more competent players because of Brawl's painfully slow frame rate. Also, why did they take out wave dashing? I feel like you would have got it from that one. That would have given it away. I also wouldn't have said Brawl.
Yeah, I'll give them away.
Cool, okay, final one. That is right, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because there was another 0. Yeah, cool. So, I mean, Alex, you can't.
I can just save face right now, can I?
You can't even win, yeah. But, you know, something can happen. Okay, final game, 3
Extra
reviews
points?
for the same game. Yeah. Well, let's say this one's double points. So if you get it on the first one, it'll be even.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Cool. Review number 1. Do you have a job? How about a significant other, a pet, bills to pay, other responsibilities that occupy a lot of your time? Then don't buy this game. Seriously, the last thing you want in your stressful life is a nagging video game scolding you when you haven't picked it up every day.
This is only on consoles?
I can't tell you that.
On Nintendo.
Again, they're all Nintendo games.
I think I know.
What?
I I'm gonna guess, this is a weird guess, I'll say Pokemon Go?
I'm going to say Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Interesting. Okay, you're both wrong, unfortunately.
Ah.
And I'm going to use this opportunity to tell you I wouldn't have put in a phone game here.
Okay.
And they're all going to be Nintendo console games.
All right.
Okay, all right, review number 2. This game's so stupid. I can't believe my parents wanted me to play it because they think school is what I should go to. And I don't want to be a stupid nerd. All these losers who rated it above 0 are just dumb and have no intelligence. If you want to play an awesome game, then go play cool PSP games or Xbox and PS2 because Nintendo is for kids and I'm mature enough to know that.
Going to school. Now I'm on to steal the... I guess brain training?
Interesting, okay.
Fire Emblem, 3 Houses.
Okay.
That was a good guess.
Anna, you've won. That is brain training.
I stole your answer from the other round. I was like, oh, you said that last time.
Oh
That
my
sounds
god,
like
I'm awful.
I'm kicking myself a lot less for not understanding the game till halfway through.
I mean, you would have got Professor Layton, yeah.
I was like, I had that one in my head because that's the first one I played, but I couldn't name it. So
wow,
fair's fair.
You wipe the floor with me. That's incredible.
No, I was expecting you to wipe the floor with me.
The last review is, you would think that you would discover more exciting things while playing, but about the most thrilling thing in the game is being able to design your own stamp to mark off days that you've used the game. Also the fact that when you say the doctor in the game's name in the title screen, he jumps.
Oh.
Nice.
I feel like, again, that would have given it away.
Well, I've been well and truly humbled there.
That's all right.
How many points did Anna get? I got 0.
She's got 8.
Wow, okay. I bow down. Out
of a possible 15.
That Nintendo knowledge is just like incredible.
Oh, no, it's not. No. I think it was just a lot of lucky guesses. Shots in the dark.
I'll think of a quicker quiz next time.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the next quiz. I'm gonna like kind of like study up, I think, and just like throughout the whole Nintendo history, just kind of really go for it.
Can't let my hubris get the best of me now.
Right, well, I think that's kind of all about time we kind of got time for. So thank you very much, Nathan and Anna. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you about the week in Nintendo Land. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.